it's Alicia too, and I'd like to welcome you all to my interview with David and Vanessa from Goodnight Sunrise. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for taking the time for coming on today. We were kind of diving into the behind the scenes of Zoom before we hopped on here. So would you like to share with the world the beautiful revelation that we just
Yeah.
discovered together?
Well, I think what I'd like to share with the world, and this is just a fun interactive activity, what parts of our faces right now are real or fake?
I wonder if
That's
they'll know.
yeah, see if you can guess, because what we discovered was that there is a whole hidden trove of features in Zoom which allows you to basically give yourself a facelift.
Completely. You can change
Yeah.
everything from lipstick. I think you could do blush. Your brows can be different. So what is real that you are seeing right
Like,
now? Let us
is
know.
that David's real facial hair? Are these my real brows? Is this my actual lips? Like, is that his actual eye color?
Because it's
Okay,
my face.
is this your face?
Is
Okay,
it
so
really?
here
Is
we'll
that really what you look like, or has we
I'll
been
give you
deceiving
a
us this
hint.
whole time?
Am I actually Vanessa?
I there are two things that are fake, and you have to guess what the two things are. There, done. Two things.
There we go. I'm so curious to see who absolutely nails this. But the first thing I really did want to get into with both of you is the fact that when I first started listening to your music and just looking through your socials and getting a vibe for both of you, I was really drawn to how you have this super carefree attitude. Like you're really doing your own thing. You embrace going against the norm. And I love that. So where do you kind of think that bit of a rebellious side happens to stem from?
That's so funny you say that. And I think maybe this interview is like the therapy I needed right now, because I think it's really funny how people have like a perception of you that you don't necessarily have of yourself.
Right?
So first of all, that's really great to hear that, because I've been feeling lately like I'm like, oh my God, am I really being authentic? Like, it's so hard in this industry. We're artists, we're trying to make our own thing, but literally the only thing anyone tells you is to be more like other people. Like, no
Yeah.
one tells you, like on the business end, no one tells you to be yourself and do your own thing. So like, that's something we have to do. And if we are coming across like we're doing that, I'm really happy to hear that. And I would say that's just a product of being in a band in like, wait, are we allowed to swear on this?
Oh, please. I
Okay, great.
endorse it.
Okay, good. Because I was just gonna
It's
say
encouraged.
it's a product of being in a band for 11 years and literally at this point having zero fucks to give. Like, we had a lot of fucks, they got slowly taken away, and like, like we got just like beaten down.
Been handing them out left,
Yeah,
right, and
just a
center.
fuck here, fuck
Fuck,
there.
fuck,
It's
fuck,
like
fuck.
that.
Yeah, but we're
raining fucks.
on short supply.
We're on
So
short supply, so now I guess we have zero fucks, and we're like, cool.
It's
Yeah.
fun to see though, and I can tell that it's making its way into the videos, into the promo photographs, even the captions, where some of them are really long and beautifully sappy. I love reading it. And then the other ones are just to the point and sassy. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm really getting all sides of you two just through social media, which not all bands can do well. So kudos.
Thank you.
maybe that's another game that one can play is
Who wrote which
who
caption?
wrote which caption.
Ooh.
Because
I
there's
mean,
a certain yeah.
from the way Vanessa reacted when I said the long captions and looked at you, I'm assuming those are yours, David, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's okay. To give away the answer, usually if it's just like in all caps, like an explosion of emotion,
It's me.
it's typically Vanessa.
That's me.
Which
Okay.
which is how, yeah, I mean, it's reflective of us as people,
Right.
probably, as you can tell.
This is kombucha, by the way, everyone. Okay.
Don't get me started. I just started drinking that like the last 2 months, the Synergy one, and I'm obsessed with it now. There's no
Oh
going
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
That's so good. And drink it in stemware. Like, drinking everything in stemware just makes it better.
Oh, it's just so much fancier, right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we obviously have to dive into what's on the horizon as your third record is coming out very soon against all odds. Everyone can pick it up when it drops on October 7th. So what runs through your mind heading into a release like this? Because of course you've been here twice before, but do you feel like it's a little bit different from the last time? Is it more emotional than last time? How are you feeling about that aspect?
All of those things. It is more emotional. It's more exciting. We've been working on it for basically 3 years now, so which is pretty crazy, which is very common.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, that's a common story for lots of bands who have been spent trying to keep themselves busy over the pandemic.
Right.
So we were certainly one of those, just working away whenever we could. And so it is pretty crazy because we first started recording this in February 2020. So it's an extreme relief to finally be able to have it out there. but it's also connected to what we've started talking about, just the social media game and creating content and everything like that. I think it's also tough to balance like the internal pressures and the external pressure of feeling like are we doing enough, and like we're doing so much all the time constantly, but it's so hard to feel like it is enough. So it's kind of that balance. Like we're very, very excited, and so far the songs that we've been putting out this year have been getting a great response, and playing shows, like playing these new songs live, been getting a great response. So that's really exciting. But then the social media game gets a little bit of a
Yeah. We need, if anyone's watching this and wants to take over our social media, like DM us on social media.
ha 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 ha.
That's great. It really is. Ties
She
it
laughed
all
for
together.
real. Okay?
I did. No, that was a genuine laugh. I liked it. But when it comes to the title of the record, I know how much it must mean to you, simply as it did take close to those 3 years to make. So you're kind of wondering throughout that whole process during the pandemic, like who will hear these? When will they hear this? So
Yeah.
what else does the title kind of give to both of you? Because I always feel like it's relatable on the surface, but there's always so much more to those few words.
Well, the title is Against All Odds, and it's so funny. Like, I think you spent so long like coming up with the perfect title, and no one like even, I was talking to someone about this last week. Like, we just say album titles and band names without thinking about them. Like, we're like Pearl Jam, da 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 da. But like, what the fuck? What does Pearl Jam mean? They probably thought about that name. Like, why did they call it that?
I love that you bring this up because I keep thinking of like Stone Temple Pilots. Like, what the
Right?
hell
Like,
is that? But
what
it's
is
just
that?
right.
I know. So like, I'm like, Against All Odds. Like, let's actually. It's like we came up with that title. It means something. So, for us, I think the overarching thing is like, for us as a band, against all the odds we've faced in this industry, being in a band for 11 years, like we're not still here. We're like still here, and we're stronger than ever, and we're more determined than ever to like keep going. So we're not here hanging on by a thread. I mean, in some ways we are, but like we're here.
Emotionally, maybe.
But
professionally, great momentum. Yeah.
But like, there are so many odds against us as a band. Being a woman of color in a rock band, there are odds against us. Being a rock band in the middle of pandemic, there were odds against us. Yeah. Being a rock band right now at a time where there are more bands than ever, it's easier to release music than ever before. Like, the competition is crazier than ever. Radio is dying. Like, more odds. Like, we dated and broke up in the middle of being in a band, so now we're exes in a band. So it's like, there's so many odds, but not everyone listening to this is in a band, and this is for everyone. This is about, I think we all are in a way pursuing some dream one way or another, whether it's being in a relationship, whether it's getting our mental health together, whether it's like trying to become sober, whether it's trying to get a new job, having a kid, whatever it is. There are so many odds stacked against you when you're trying to pursue a dream and do something challenging. Yeah. And every song on this album is for you. It's hopefully a pep talk. It's a reminder of why you're still fighting the fight. It's hopefully a relatable moment here or there to show you that you're not alone, and that anything worth having is worth fighting for. So that's like the vibe.
That's so beautifully put. And that's what I wanted to ask, because that point blank surface, you kind of think, man, they have been through so much. They must have been through those last 3 years, but there's always that underlining bit, where you want to know more. And then just kind of speaking to the record, of course, you did release your new single, Time Sick. It's officially out for everyone to enjoy. And there's such a nostalgia in this track, not only with the music itself, but also the lyrics of kind of reminiscing on yearbooks and having those basement daydreams. So you have to kind of walk me through getting your actual fans to sing on the release, because it's such a beautiful thing to have not only a community like that, but commitment from them. And it must have just been really special hearing that first cut for the first time. So bring us kind of behind the scenes on that.
David?
Sure. I'm trying to remember the exact timeline, but maybe it doesn't matter. At whatever point in the 2 years that we were working on the album, I can't remember when we had the idea of getting some gang vocals, but it was definitely during a lockdown stretch where in between, like before that, we had been able to finish most of the production. So we got all the instruments and stuff done with our producer, Brian Moncars, in the studio in between shutdowns. But then as he was mixing it, it was during a lockdown, and we were definitely feeling isolated and depressed like everyone was. And just like you were saying, the idea of working on these songs and not having any clue when we would actually be able to release them was pretty weird to comprehend while we're working on them. So yeah, we just came up with this idea to just put a call out to see if other people wanted to get involved, because there was just this part at the end of the song where we were doing gang vocals in the studio, but we just thought it would sound so much cooler, and then it also would be really symbolic if we just had a bunch of other voices from wherever in the world all combining in one. So at the time, we were still very long way away from actually playing shows again. So at that time, last summer probably, it was just a really fun experience. It was a good creative challenge to put a call out and get people to submit, and then I would edit them all together, and then when they all lined up, I'd send them over to Brian to mix them into the final track. So it was a good creative challenge to keep busy during that stretch. But then symbolically at the time, it was a good excuse just to like connect with other people, with fans and with friends. And then now that we're on the other side of it, it's even more special because now we can look back on what a special recording that made because of that process.
It's a little time capsule of everyone who kind of supported you at the time. I think it's so neat. Like, I haven't really heard of too many bands doing that. So when I saw that on your pages, I thought, man, that's such a unique way to go about things.
Well, and it's cool because it's like all it is a bunch of voice notes like from people's phones. So it's like also like amazing what you can do now, you know?
Right. Especially not even being in the same room amongst everybody.
Totally,
that's pretty crazy. How many voices actually went into it, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was like 10 to 15 tracks.
That's so cool.
All together.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is really cool just to hear them kind of stacked. Like my, at the time, 10-year-old niece did one as well. So there's like people of all ages and all different types and like some people who are active artists who are like professional singers, and then some people who haven't sung in years but wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, it is pretty cool that if you isolate just those gang vocals, it sounds like a big group of people all singing together. So it is a really cool effect.
It just felt so positive listening to it too. And that's something I feel you definitely try to also kind of share within your live shows. You give these really cute pep talks that I've seen just spreading the positivity. And you did one talking about believing in your wildest dreams. So I really would like to know, was this a band having records, doing this together? Was that originally the wildest dream for both of you?
I think like a part of it, like my wildest dream was to become Britney Spears. So like, I mean, kind of, you know? Like,
yeah, you're tapping into it.
This is probably a better case scenario too, because like when I had that wildest dream, we didn't know everything that was going on with Brit. So like, I think this is probably, I also think it'd be so hard to be Britney and just be her own artist. Like Backstreet Boys would be another thing, at least having like a crew. So like, I think being a solo artist is so hard. So yeah, I would say this is the wildest dream, is to be making music, having a team that supports us, touring the world, like using our platform to make the world a better place, being creative. Like, yeah, what about you?
I think as a band, what is defined as our wildest dream, I guess, probably has evolved over the years.
Right.
I think what you're alluding to from what, as I know, this is no surprise, like your wildest dream when you were younger was to be a pop star. But okay, maybe that's it. So I think you used to want to be a pop star, but now you have evolved to wanting to be a rock star.
Ooh.
It's like prolific, but also so simple, you know? And then also I'm like, aren't they one and the same?
Well, sure. Okay, fine. Maybe.
I actually think they are, you know, like it's just a different genre, but like almost barely.
I mean, you're still up on stage kicking ass in front of tons of people. It's kind of the same.
We're still performing. Like Lady Gaga also plays a guitar. Like our songs are rock songs, but like they're super poppy. So I don't know. I think I'm living my fucking wildest dream.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, okay.
I love that. Revelations. Yes.
There you go. You just gave yourself a pep talk.
I needed this pep talk. Oh my god, I'm so glad for this interview. Actually,
that makes me so happy.
Yeah, no thanks.
Aw.
I'm good. What about you? I hope you're
I was about to ask.
David's like, I realize I am not at all living my life.
Yeah. I guess I thought I wanted to be a rock star, but now I realize actually I want to be Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Kind of doing that too.
Lady Gaga's a rock star. Come on.
Lady Gaga is the biggest fucking rock star.
Well,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
need a
Okay,
bit more
I mean,
spandex. You're good.
No. Okay, I mean, okay. In a serious answer, I think that the goals or the dreams of the band for sure have evolved. Like when we started our band, we didn't know what we were doing. Like we had never led a band before. We'd never really written songs before. So I think in the first few years, it was more just we were music fans and we loved going to shows, and like we had been in a band together. That's how we met. We had been in a band before, and then afterwards we liked being creative partners. So then we just thought, let's see if we could write songs. And we could, and then we put a band together, and then we started playing shows and just playing dive bars, and that was just a lot of fun. So we just kept doing it. But then over the years, I think our what we've dreamed of for sure has evolved, and then now the idea of like taking our music around the world and recording an album of this scale with this level of production quality,
with factor funding, with like actual and actual, like with the rhythm section of Our Lady Peace. Come on, that's
and like
and
making a life
that's pretty
of
badass.
it. Like yeah, like doing it for as a job or as a career. Like that's something we weren't really thinking about when we started out. So
now we're like, oh my god, imagine we legitimately were a profitable band and this is our life.
Wild dream. Pretty damn wild dream.
We're still imagining what that would be like.
I love it though.
Okay, cool.
Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you both about is how much I'm actually just really digging the style and effortless kind of energy and vibe you bring, especially with your photo shoots. So when you think back to your pasts, however, because now we kind of feel like we have it all sorted out, were there any fashion phases you went through that you regret or kind of cringe on?
Oh my God, this is such a great question. For me, I'm gonna go with no is my instinctive response.
I'm jealous of you then.
Like, I think every fashion phase I went through was right for the time. Like I had a whole weird phase in high school where like everything had to match. So I'd wear like blue cords, like a blue shirt, blue shoes, and like blue lipstick. But like, that's kind of cool actually.
Especially now it's super back.
Like now it's like back, you know?
Super in. No, that's true.
Yeah. Is there anything that I mean, I'm good, I think. What about you? I think I'm fine.
I probably have had some regrettable. Well, I don't know. I've never been too adventurous when it comes to stuff. Maybe okay.
Even when you grew your hair.
Yeah, so maybe my regret is not being more adventurous in my style.
Fair.
But you can change that like right now. She's
well, I think I already
absolutely.
I think I already have. I mean, I'm dressed like a regular dude, but presently. But I mean,
you wore that mesh shirt.
Well, yeah, I think I'd say on stage. But I mean, this is your influence, but I'm into it. On stage, us dressing far more like glamorously and glam rock style.
Yeah,
I really have enjoyed that, and I wouldn't do that in my life in general. Like I wouldn't have thought of just doing that, but because of being in a band and because of your incredible style,
that's the biggest reason wear all my clothes.
You missed. I was trying to give you a compliment.
I'm sorry, yeah, but as you're complimenting me, I'm realizing I lied. I actually have a huge regret, a huge regret. And what it is that for so long I prioritized fashion over function. And I damaged my feet. I was uncomfortable all the fucking time. I had to like suck in because I was uncomfortable. And I did that for way too long. And like that is my regret because I wore so many things just to look good that I didn't feel good in, or that like I sacrificed like my ability to walk. You know what I mean? Like I actually went through a whole phase. This is actually disgusting where I tried to shrink my feet by wearing shoes that were too small.
You did
like, I did. It's like fucked up. Like when I was in high school, it was like an eating disorder for my feet. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of this. It's just like I recall I would buy shoes that were too small, specifically to try and shrink my feet. So I would say that is my regret. I'm so glad I don't do that now. I proudly will. You will never fucking catch me in a high heel. It's over. And I'm so glad that flats and leggings are actually fashionable now. To be honest.
I know.
I'm like athleisure. Thank you, Kim K. Thank you.
That's where it's at. Absolutely. No, I appreciate both of you coming on, being so open with everything that you've been through, and now just sharing the journey and path that's kind of brought you to here. So a massive thanks to both David and Vanessa from Goodnight Sunrise for taking the time.
Thanks for having us. And the big reveal, My eyebrows are fake. My eyebrows were painted by Zoom, and I'm not wearing pink lipstick. The end.
And this is a
end.
stick-on mustache.
I love it. Again, everyone, this has been Goodnight Sunrise. For more exclusive interviews and features, all you got to do is hit up aliciaatout.com, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.